We have a gunshot wound. We have a victim on a college campus in a country that is pretty familiar with school shootings. Where are the paramedics? Where is the ambulance? Why is Charlie being treated by his security team and not EMS? It makes no sense. What's going on, y'all? It's the Unleavened Truth. It's your boy JR, your host doing the most. Back with another one. As always, if this video and other videos bring you value, please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Now, if you haven't caught my last video, we've been diving into the Charlie Kirk situation. Again, this is a high-stakes, high-profile case. Probably the biggest assassination since JFK, in my opinion. And I'm sitting here prepping for my next video, kind of gathering all the new evidence that's come out. And again, I had to just take a step back. There's this image in my head that I cannot shake. And it's the image of Charlie Kirk being whisked away in an SUV by his security team. And I gotta be honest with y'all, it just does not sit right with me. It's one of those red flags that I just can't get past. You would think in this country, with all the mass shootings and all the civil unrest, all the stuff going on with ICE, you would think that having an event at a college campus would, by default, inherit a ton of even seemingly unnecessary medical response. Paramedics, ambulance, people who are trained in CPR, just all over campus for such a high-profile figure in such a polarizing event. And yet, there was none of that. And I'm sorry, that's weird. So I had to take a step back and just do a little research, and you guys might be interested to see what I found. And I'm curious if anybody picked up on something that I just caught while I was working on this video. So I found this article from eventmedstaff.com, and it's how to stay compliant with Utah's EMS laws for public events. And so this company basically just specializes in getting you right for events that you're gonna have in the state of Utah. They provide the staff that you need, all the permits, making sure that you're compliant with state laws, all that jazz, right? All the, legal mumbo jumbo. So I'm just gonna run through this with you guys. Who regulates EMS at Utah events? EMS compliance at public events in Utah is typically overseen by Utah Department of Health and Human Services, local city and county fire departments or emergency management offices, venue-specific safety requirements for concerts and stadiums. Key EMS laws and requirements in Utah. Number 1, medical staffing may be mandated for public events. In Utah, if your event meets such criteria such as expected attendance of 500 plus, alcohol being served, physical activities like races, festivals, concerts, outdoor summer scheduling, you will likely be required to have licensed EMTs or higher level providers on site. Okay, pro tip, local fire marshals and city planners often won't sign off on your permit without a clear medical coverage plan. That is so key. They will not sign off on your event, meaning you can't have this event if these guidelines aren't met. Let's continue. Number 2, all on-site medical personnel must be licensed. Per Utah Code and DHHS regulations, only state-licensed EMS providers are permitted to deliver care at public gatherings. That means no first aid volunteers, no expired or out-of-state only credentials, and you must be able to verify licensure and certifications. So to me, this means if Charlie's security team, for example, is providing emergency medical services, they need to have some type of certification or licensure in the state of Utah. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I remember when I used to work in finance, any state that I would work in where I had a client that lived in that state, I would fill out the requirements to be licensed or to have my license carry over in that state. Could easily be the case for Charlie Kirk's security team. But if not, we got a problem. Let's continue. Number 3, medical coverage must be documented before your event. Most Utah municipalities will require a medical action plan or EMS coverage plan, a map showing triage and medical stations, copies of licenses and liability insurance, and a roster of medical staff and hours on site. Now, this company, like they say, they provide all this for you with every booking so you can focus on the event and not the paperwork. Now, again, this is major to me, right? In order for TPUSA to host this event at UVU, they needed to provide a full medical plan with contingencies. Hey, if this happens, this happens. If this takes place, that takes place. All these different things have to be in place just to get your event approved, okay? So if we contrast just these first couple bullet points with what we saw that day, I mean, there is massive amounts of negligence involved, not only from UVU and TPUSA, but Charlie Kirk's own security team. There's a lot of things here that they dropped the ball. Let's continue. Number 4, you must coordinate with local EMS. Many Utah cities require event organizers to notify the local fire department, provide your medical plan in advance, be prepared for a site walkthrough or safety briefing. And this company has worked with EMS teams across Salt Lake, Ogden, Provo, Park City, and beyond, and can coordinate with dispatch on your behalf. UVU's campus is in Provo, Utah. So this would fall in line that this company would qualify as a company that you would hire to take care of all this stuff for you. But again, the key part here is in advance. You have to have these things in place ahead of time. Otherwise, your event will not get the proper permits and you can't host it. Plain and simple. Here's some common mistakes that can break compliance. Hiring unlicensed or uncertified event medics, submitting incomplete permit paperwork, not notifying EMS dispatch about your event, understaffing based on crowd size or risk, and failing to provide hydration and cool down stations. Even a single oversight can lead to fines, delays, or worse, delayed care in an emergency. Delayed care in an emergency. I think Charlie Kirk's assassination qualifies as delayed care in an emergency. Here's some common FAQs. How do I know if my event needs medical staffing? Well, if you're expecting over 500 people serving alcohol or holding an outdoor high-energy event, assume that medical staff will be required. When in doubt, ask it out. What certifications should my EMTs have? They must be Utah licensed EMTs with current certifications. All of our staff meet these standards and are covered by liability insurance. So again, this company is like crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. If you want to host an event in Utah, these are the things you got to do. Our company can help you with that, but whether you hire us or not, these are the things that got to be in place. Number 3, and most important in my opinion, do I need to file a medical plan with my permit? Yes, in most cities. We provide a complete medical plan, staffing roster, and insurance documentation with your booking. We can stop right there. If this event was handled properly, there should be a medical plan that was submitted to whoever the powers that be in the state of Utah or in the city of Provo to make sure that this medical plan, triage layout, all these different things were in place. So my question is, where is that medical plan? Did TPUSA, did Charlie's security team actually submit this medical plan and get approval for this event? Because if they didn't, you're talking about a multi-million-dollar company in TPUSA, a multi-million-dollar brand in Charlie Kirk, and his security team, all guilty of massive amounts of negligence. And if I'm the loved one of Charlie Kirk, his wife, his parents, right, even his children, okay, if I'm someone close to Charlie and these things aren't in place, I'm suing. I'm suing the state of Utah. I'm suing Utah Valley University. I'm suing TPUSA. I'm suing Charlie's security team. I'm suing everybody because all of you failed to protect the person that I love, in this case being Charlie Kirk. And like I said in my last video, we have all these people who are character assassinating people like Candace Owens, Trigger Smart, Range Day Bro, all of these people who are just asking common sense questions. We have a gunshot wound. We have a victim on a college campus in a country that is pretty familiar with school shootings. Where are the paramedics? Where is the ambulance? Why is Charlie being treated by his security team and not EMS? It makes no sense. And so I'm digging through all this information. Again, so much content came out in the aftermath of Charlie being shot that I'm like, I'm watching any and everything that I can find. And over time, you kind of forget what you've seen and what you've heard. So I take a step back and I find this interview from Brian Harpole, who is the head of Charlie's security team, on Sean Ryan's podcast. And he addressed some of these questions that I'm bringing up. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The Monday before the event, we were still working through the arrival. And so we have concerns with rooftops. We got a location that we're not keen with. We know what our responsibility is. We know what our statutory authority is. We know that we can't go up and set up our guys in sniper observer positions. It's not going to be allowed. And so we have some correspondence with the chief of the school on that day, on Monday before Charlie was killed. And why this hadn't come out and why he won't stand up like a man and admit this, I don't know. But he's watching a bunch of men lose their careers, and he's okay with it. On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, I got you covered. What else am I to do?
Okay, so he lost me at rooftop, right? Like, he claims that he spoke to a police officer who basically told him, we got the roof covered. And he just took his word for it? You're the head of security for the most active activist in this country, Charlie Kirk. There is nobody bigger when it comes to this kind of stuff. And a police officer tells you, oh yeah, we got you, bro. And you just take his word for it? If I'm the head of security for a high-profile activist like Charlie Kirk, and even one of my requirements aren't met, I'm pulling my client. We out of here. Like, first off, who's ever heard of Utah Valley University? It's not like he was at Duke or North Carolina or some big school, not even Utah State. You're at UVU, a school nobody's even heard of. Let's just be honest about it. And these people are clearly not invested in prioritizing your client's safety, but neither are you, because you let the event continue. So then we have the aftermath of the shooting. And this part we can see on camera. And this is where I get mad because, again, there's just obvious negligence on the part of Charlie's security team. Charlie gets shot. He falls to the ground. Nobody gives him CPR, okay? And we know that because it takes longer than 20 seconds to give somebody CPR. And within 20 seconds, Charlie is moved from where he was shot to the SUV, okay? So no CPR was given. There is no triage station. Again, we've already covered. You're supposed to have this in place beforehand. You didn't. And the worst part is there's no EMS. There's no emergency medical response around at all. Except there was emergency medical response around.
So that's Charlie being rushed off. EMS. Right there. So that means they didn't even have a chance to run up on Charlie when he was on the ground. And that would have been the time to have, look, that's a trauma bag right there. Right? So again, they are showing they're showing Frank here, but also they're pointing to the fact that there are EMS guys in the background. So it's not like these guys weren't around. You'll end up seeing them right around here. There he is. Walks by. He's on scene. This is the guy that should have been doing what the security guards were doing. And I'm not saying this out of an attack on him. The security is supposed to be working alongside the campus police and any EMS. They're supposed to be saying, we got our guys there for EMS. I've had to do this in film and television. We have these guys over there. If anything happens, I know these guys are there. Hey, buddy, stay close because we might need you. We have these guys over, we have the campus police over here. Should have had somebody on the roof. And then if something happens, security should have been securing the perimeter, making sure there's no other shooter, right? Everybody's going to scatter. They can't control that. But they could have controlled that little situation, that little radius of where Charlie was. They lock that down. They say, EMS, get over here right away. Get over here and do whatever you got to do. Keep the blood in this guy's body, please. So this is before the shot. Right, so they're just showing everything that's going on. And this is him and his boy. See, he's taking off that trauma bag because he wants to offer it up. Let me make sure you guys see it. He's offering up that trauma bag. So the one guy named Connor, he keeps his. But this guy says, hey, go ahead and take it. Like, you can just have this. This would just make sense for you to have. Because you have somebody in there who clearly needs it. Right? They're ready to work. That's why they're walking up. They're ready to go. They're like, let us in the car. Why aren't we in the car? We have everything that you would need. The security guards have absolutely nothing except for whatever they were passing around, handing off here and there. That's all they got. And their phones. That's it. EMS guys have everything you can need. They have gauze and they have the know-how. Hey, we have this type of injury. What do you do? Oh, well. And they would just do it. But for some reason, it doesn't even seem like they were they weren't even stopped. They weren't even considered, is what it seems like. So again, there he is. He's taking it off. He's like, let's make sure these guys have exactly what they need. And that offer gets ignored. It gets a stiff no. They put him in the car and they go. Wound open. Charlie bleeding out. That's what they thought to do. Now, I've watched Valhalla VFT talk about the security team, and he makes a good case for just sheer incompetence. Sheer just incompetence. And this could be another illustration of that. Just incompetence to the point where you didn't even know who you're supposed to be getting at this moment. They're just all, wound up on themselves. Ugh, man.
I mean, can you imagine someone this prolific being shot in front of thousands of children, taken to an SUV instead of an ambulance? And you do actually see that there are a couple people on campus who are trained and ready to go to help Charlie, and you don't even utilize their services? Wow. Now, remember what we said in the last video. Inside jobs require inside players, okay? If I'm going to cover up, or dare I say, create a conspiracy, I have to have the type of access that allows that possibility to even be feasible, okay? Well, Charlie's security team has exclusive access to Charlie's body. He's shot. They take him directly to a private SUV, not an ambulance. They drive him to a hospital that's not even trauma rated, which I don't even have the mental capacity to get into that right now. But they take him to some place that they shouldn't have taken him to, and they have complete access to Charlie's body. This is a problem. This is a red flag. This is why so many people like myself are asking common sense, everyday questions. What did y'all do with Charlie and to Charlie in between him being shot and him getting to the hospital where he was pronounced dead? This does not make sense. This is not normal. This is not what you would do in the aftermath of a shooting. You could go on YouTube right now and you could watch gang shootings where the gang members have more mental fortitude. And if somebody gets shot, they'll at least cover their guy while they try to get him into the car. Charlie's security doesn't do that at all. All of them immediately address Charlie's body, drag him into the SUV, and they're gone. It just doesn't make sense. It does not sit right with me that you would do this, that you would be trained to do this, that like this is your protocol in the event that your high profile client gets shot. Just does not make sense. And again, why am I bringing this up? Because we are 4 months into the investigation and so many people are trying to deflect to all these different talking points. Some of them are fantastic talking points, but we're ignoring the elephant in the room. And that's the fact that the people closest to Charlie failed him miserably. And if I'm investigating the case, if I'm the prosecutor, if I'm the defense, if I'm the judge, I'm looking at these players, these people involved, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? So I just had to bring that up. I'm curious what you guys think. I was very shocked to see the footage of actual EMS on site. I just fully expected that there was nobody involved. And to me, having two people who are equipped and ready to assist Charlie and not being utilized by Charlie's security team is way worse than them not being there at all. So let me know what you guys think, man. Again, this case is getting crazy. And some of these things that I just, just kind of over my head in the beginning because you're so emotionally tied when everything's going down. But now you get a chance to step back and really like look at the situation for what it is. And you're just like looking at all these obvious red flags, things that could have easily been avoided. And I'm not saying that they could have saved Charlie's life. A lot of people are claiming that he was dead before he hit the ground. And based on the video we saw, that might be true. But at least make the attempt. At least do everything that you can in your power, right? I'm a basketball coach. I tell my kids all the time, control what you can control and let everything else play out as it may. And we have to be honest about the situation. UVU, TPUSA, Charlie Security, they did not control what they could control. And as a result, we lost a good one, a really good one. So let me know what you guys think. Again, hit that like, subscribe if this video and others bring you value. And we'll continue to dive into more of this information as it presents itself. Till next time.